Welcome to Life Changing Money, a podcast all about one of the most taboo topics in the world, money. I'm your host, Barbara Strehan, and we're going behind the scenes on business owners' journeys to money, success, and wealth. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Life Changing Money. I have one of our favorite clients and friends, Jeremy Harrison, on the show today. Hello.
What's up? How are you?
Good.
Good.
Thanks for flying in and out of here.
Yeah,
for the day, just for the podcast.
Absolutely. It's always fun to spend time with good people. You know.
So, you were in prison.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that. Did you know I was in prison?
No, I didn't.
But I was an employee.
Got it. All right. A little role reversal. You were on the opposite side.
Yeah. I was in the green.
Got it. That's a good place to be. You know?
Yeah.
So I spent about a year in prison, and ultimately that's what changed my life. So I used to sell drugs, run the streets, and
What kind of drugs?
Weed and coke. A lot of weed. Only sold coke for a little bit of time.
So like today, would you have gone to prison for that? Like, because weed is, I feel like, so legal now.
Yeah, I mean, there wouldn't be any profit in it. It was a good time for a career change.
Okay.
You know? Because right after that, then weed became legal across all the states, you know, and in Missouri where I grew up is where it's now legal there, you know. So, like, there wouldn't be any money in it, I don't think. But probably if you're doing it illegally and the government's not getting their money.
Yeah. So you got caught.
But yeah, so I got caught. Well, I didn't get caught selling weed or selling drugs. I got caught drinking and driving again. 4 DWIs. And yeah, they locked me up. They weren't playing. And so whenever I had to sit down for that, I went. Obviously, it was like a poor me thing. Like, why am I here? You know, like, poor me. Oh. And then after that, you know, as I was going into jail, my mom tells me, she's like, you know, Jeremy, all the shit that I know you've gotten away with, you should really be thankful that you're only doing a year. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, Mom, I still don't want to hear that shit, right? And then, so got locked up, was sitting in there, and then I had a really bad deja vu. And I always believe deja vu is you're in the right place at the right time doing the right stuff, you know? And I'm like, all right. If I truly believe this.
Oh, like you were supposed to be in prison.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, like, this hits me as I'm sitting in diagnostics, getting ready to go to the yard. And I was like, dude, like, why? This is not, I don't feel as if this is the place that I should be. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I was always a good person, good morals, good character, you know, but I was on some bullshit, I guess you could say. And so, you know, I had to evaluate at that time. Like, if I truly believe these things, and this is like the craziest deja vu I've ever had in my life, right? And so I evaluated it, and I just began to put a plan together, you know, because I realized, okay, I enjoy the luxury of life. I enjoy having whatever I want, going wherever I want. Clearly being locked up, you're not doing that. You're not doing anything. Guard says, you know the drill. They say no, it's no. You know, They say lock down, it's locked down. They say go to bed, it's time to go to your cell, you know, and that lifestyle just wasn't for me. And so I started running through everything, and I was like, okay, what do I want to do? What do I know? How do I get out of this? How do I not end up back here? And so I just put a plan together.
This is like your late night in your cell thoughts?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, so after I had that deja vu, I really dug in. And I dug inward, I didn't look outward. Outward was all trouble. It was all a bunch of guys that they had nothing to lose. Most of them repeat, you know. I wasn't trying to be a repeat, so I just stuck to myself. And
Did you have any like bad run-ins?
There's a couple. But, you know, I drank, I fought, and I sold drugs. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it wasn't anything new to me other than the fact that I didn't know any of these guys and they were all clicked up, you know? So
yeah,
I had 2 run-ins, both of which never turned into anything because I guess you can probably tell that I didn't really care. You know, it wasn't I was willing to do whatever. Like, you're not gonna fuck with me. And so I let it be known the first time, you know, whenever we were sitting there, I was on the phones, and me and my wife were fighting at the time. We were just dating, but we were fighting, you know, and I was on the phone longer than I should. And this guy's like,
tapping you on the shoulder.
Yeah, one of my buddies was in there, and this other dude's down there, and like, there's 5 guys in line at least, you know. And I'm running over my time, and I didn't give a shit, you know. Like, I'm in the middle of a conversation. I'm still that way to this day. Like, if I'm in the middle of something, don't mess with me. If I have a problem, let's address it. Let's move forward. And so one of my buddies happened to be locked up in there. And the guy upstairs was like, hey, man, your buddy's about to get his ass whooped down there. And he looked over and he laughed, and he said, he'll be fine. And the guy's like, what do you mean, you know? So later, it ended up being okay, you know, nobody, they just left me alone because they knew we were either going to the hole or I was going to finish my conversation. So later on, the guy comes and he's like, hey, dude, what's your story? I was like, I don't have a story, man. Like, just leave me alone. Don't fuck with me. He's like, well, your buddy up there seems to think that it's all a joke, you know, that you're about to get your ass whooped by 5 guys. You know, he's like, he'll be fine. I was like, I mean, I'm down for whatever. You know, like, I'm here to finish my conversation. I would let you finish yours. Have the respect, you know? And then another time we were sitting in there and I got over to the yard. And so that kind of fizzled out and everything ended up fine. You know, nobody really wanted to go to the hole. Everybody was trying to get to the yard. And then once we got to the yard, I loaned a guy some phone time. And it had been a couple days, you know. And then
For those not familiar with prison, like bartering is prison's currency.
Yeah.
Okay, you can like barter anything and everything.
Yeah, legitimately anything and everything. And so I had loaned this guy some phone time for some cigarettes. Like, he's like, okay, what do you want? Blah, 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 and some cigarettes, you know, and my phone time back. Like, I'll give you 10 minutes on the phone. You give me my 10 minutes back and a pack of cigarettes, right? Well, he gave me the pack of cigarettes, and then a couple days later, he hadn't given me anything. And so right at count, he walks by my cell, and he's like, meet me in the bathroom after count. I was like, fuck, here we go, you know. Like, dude, I'm just here to do my time, man. I just want to go home. I have 2 kids at home. Like, I'm not trying to spend any more time here than I had to. And all my cellies were like, cause there was a room. In that room, there was 6 of us. And
so were you at like a camp?
Yeah, I mean, it was
ish.
Yeah, I don't really know.
Like the trailers.
No. That was I spent a lot of time there too, but this one was an actual prison facility. It was just minimal security.
Okay.
So it was low entry. They put more than 2 guys in a room. You know, we got moved up to the short house, and I had 8 people total, counting me. So this guy walks by my cell, and he's like, "Hey, meet me in the bathroom after count." I'm like, all right, fuck, here we go. You know, my cellie's like, dude, that dude's on some bullshit all the time. Like, you should have never loaned him anything. You should have never gotten into bed with him.
You're like, thanks for telling me now.
Yeah. I'm like, bro, where were you at? You know, but I had just walked in there. I just got onto the yard. I had no cigarettes. I needed cigarettes. I had phone time. You know, canteen hadn't hit. I had money on my books. So then I go into the bathroom and I walk in and there's like 6 dudes in there. I was like, motherfucker, man, here we go. You know, so I walked straight in, straight to the corner, turned my back. So I couldn't get behind me. You can come at me one-on-one. Like, I'm gonna have a fucking chance here, right? And so the guy walks in. I'm like, fuck, man, here we go. Like, I am super nervous, you know, like I'm scrappy.
Yeah.
But generally it's, you know, 1 to 2 guys. You knock the first one down, the second one doesn't want any type stuff, you know, and these guys are just standing around looking like they're in some bullshit, you know? And he walks in and I get ready to throw down. He's like, dude, what's up? What the fuck do you mean, what's up? Like, you told me to meet you in the bathroom. There's only one thing you want. Like, what's up with you?
Yeah.
He's like, dude, I just wanted to know what you wanted for that phone time. I'm like, don't fuck with me, man. You know exactly what I want for the phone time. We had already discussed this. Blah, blah, blah. And so then that fizzled out. And then after that, nobody messed with me.
So you didn't have to fight him?
Huh.
Oh, that's good.
No, because I was ready for whatever. You know what I mean? He's like, dude, if this dude's going to walk in here and back into a corner with 6 guys plus me, so 7 people total, like, do I really want to do this? I guarantee it was his thought. I don't know to this day what his thought was, but that set the precedence for everything moving forward. And so then after that, I just stuck to myself. I didn't loan anybody phone time. I didn't get into bed with people after that. Like, I was like, all right, cool. The Snickers bar on your pillow, you know, might be a real deal. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, but, you know, I made the best of it, because here's the deal about bad things that happen. Bad things are always going to happen to you. Good things are going to happen, and then those good things are going to pass. Bad things are going to happen to you, and then those things come to pass. Like, everything is a cycle in life, and you have to be willing to experience it and take advantage of that opportunity. So while to most, going to prison is a terrible thing, it sucked. But at the end of the day, what did it do for me? It gave me a year to sit down and think about my life. I would have never stopped. I would have never changed. I would probably have been in prison for a lot longer because eventually I would have got caught. You can't run the streets forever and not go down. Like it's part of the process. You either die or you go to prison. And I was willing for whatever at that point. So it gave me the experience to sit down, experience for a brief moment in time what I would have experienced for a much longer period in time. Because I was moving. I was moving some pretty decent weight. It wasn't like I was just like nickel and diming to school kids.
Yeah.
And so I used it. I used it to my advantage.
Was it Erica that you were fighting with?
Yeah.
So Erica's his wife still to this day.
Yeah.
And so were you writing letters all the time?
Constantly.
Probably your communication was better after that year.
Much better. Well, I understood to use the words I feel instead of I know or I got, like I feel this way. And those couple words changed because then it was like, okay, that's his feelings. Not he's not trying to put a jacket on me. He's not trying to make me wear something that's not true. So that helped. But yes, it did help our communication because she could just hang the fucking phone up.
Yeah.
And she would.
And that's all you got.
Yeah. Yeah. You got your wife, your 2 kids, your mom, who's not playing middleman. You know what I mean? And that's what, one thing people need to understand is you have your family and you have your significant other, but all your friends, they come to pass too.
Yeah.
They'll be there when the times are good, but when the times get tough.
Yeah, you're like, you didn't fucking visit me at all.
Like, bro, where are you at? And that really cleared a lot up for me as well. So knowing that I had her, and then yes, as far as our communication goes, the ability to be locked into a box, and then the only way you can get through is either a letter that takes like 2 weeks at best to circle back, or a phone call that can be hung up on. Like you have to improve your communication skills, and you have to improve your attitude and your demeanor and everything. So yeah, I would say it helped.
Well, probably from going from drug dealer, which is a very lucrative industry.
Very much so.
To now having to make money legally.
Yeah.
When you get out, was probably a slap in the face.
It's very difficult.
Yeah. Did you start your business right after?
No. So right after I got out, I was lost. I was confused as to what I needed to do. It was one of those things where it was like...
You mean they didn't rehabilitate you?
Yeah, that's a fucking joke, man. That's the biggest joke. And in fact, it's actually 100% stacked against you.
Yeah.
There is no rehabilitation program.
No, that's why I went into the prison system, is because I thought I wanted to do criminal justice.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to rehab people that were like my parents. Because I was like, this must be the right way.
Yeah.
And then I worked there after a few years. I was like, this isn't helping anyone.
Yeah.
Like, they don't give a shit.
No, they don't give a shit. And it's because whenever you get out. So I got out and I had no license. I didn't have a license for 10 years, in fact. I still don't have a license to this day.
And no voting rights, right?
I got my voting rights back after a couple years, but I still can't own firearms to defend myself. I can't go shooting with my kids. I can't take them hunting. I can't do any of that stuff. Not that I'm a hunter, but like my oldest son likes to hunt. So if he was like, "Hey, Dad, you want to go hunting?" I'd be like, "Fuck, okay, great. I guess I'll go sit in the freezing cold in a tree somewhere and wait for something. Hope something wanders by my stand for me to, like it's not my gig, right?" But they do take everything from you. My to get insurance on my house, me and my wife had to be separated. Together but separated, because the insurance companies would not fund us, or they wouldn't.
I didn't know that.
Us. Yeah, I didn't either until.
Yeah, what about a mortgage?
Mortgages, they don't really mess with you on, but the insurance they can mess with you on. But it goes to hard money lenders too.
Yeah.
It affects me there. I had to be
super high interest rates.
Super high interest rates, but they won't even loan to me. Like I had to be removed off of our business about a year and a half ago. We bought a flip property. We're closing in 3 days. Like we've done everything. We're coming down to the wire. 3 days prior to closing, he's like, hey, man, I hate to tell you this, but underwriters won't approve it with you on there because you're felony. I was like, dude, we closed in 3 fucking days. Like, what do you mean? Okay, great. What's the workaround? Like, you giving me the information. That's the other thing. You can't just sit there and complain about your situation. You have to, if there's a block, where's the gray area to get around it? Mm-hmm. Where are we at? And so I said, well, what's the deal? What do we need to do? Because we've got to close in this house. You know, like we have everything lined up. And he's like, well, I mean, you got to be removed from the company. Okay, fine. Done. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. Like, let's move the ball forward, you know? And so then I tried to expunge it, and they told me, like, oh, well, it doesn't affect your ability to get loans. I'm like, yes, it does. Like, if I want, this is just, they gave me my final denial letter on getting expunged about 6 months ago. Maybe less. 4 to 6 months ago. Yeah, it sucks. But they don't try to rehabilitate you.
Right.
So
you get out, you have nothing, everything's taken away from you, no job, no support system.
No job, no support system, no car.
No one wants to hire you.
Nobody wants to hire you. You're a convicted felon with no driver's license.
Yeah.
Like,
so what'd you do?
I applied at some places. The results were as they were. You know, hey, no, we're not looking for anybody right now. Like, bro, you're hiring for that position. You can't tell me you're not fucking looking for somebody. I ended up getting a job at a automotive shop, which is awkward, right? Because I have no license. But they brought me in at minimum wage because I knew how to turn wrenches. I knew how to sell. Like, I was good at that type of stuff. Within 6 months, I was running the shop, running the invoices, dealing with customers, and taking care of all the transactions and turning wrenches. I went to that guy and I was like, hey, dude, I need a raise. And he's like, well, if you didn't wake up with one, you're not getting one. I was like, okay, what the fuck? Like, at that time, I had twin girls on the way. So now I've got 4 kids, 1 vehicle. We ended up having to trade her vehicle in, get a minivan. So now we have 1 minivan. She's dropping me off at work, you know, and I would get there at 6 o'clock in the morning so she could get the kids to daycare and still get to work on time. And then I would leave at 6 o'clock at night for $7 an hour, 8 hours a day. Like, I wasn't getting paid starting at 6 o'clock and ending at 6 o'clock. Like, I got paid from 8 to 5. And so, you know, I had to eat shit for a while. And then I found my biological father. You know, my biological father died whenever I was 7. I finally found where he was buried, and I found my sisters. And so I tell this guy, you know, I've got my girls are going to be born in 2 months. I would like to close out this hole that's within me, you know, like I would like to close this cycle out. And he's like, well, man, if you leave, you're fired. Oh, I was like, what the fuck, man? Like, you know, I thought I'd been working for you for about a year at this point. And he's like, well, you know, who else is going to hire you? You're a convicted felon with no license. I'm, got it. Fuck you. I'm out.
Yeah.
And so I did. I left. And once I got back, you know, I left, went to Las Vegas, met my my sister and my stepmom, and then found my father's grave, you know, which was amazing, right? But then whenever I got home, I had no job. Still have 4 kids. You know, I had 2 kids. The twins are on their way. 2 kids at the house, 1 job, you know, I'm living with my mom. Like, it was terrible. So then we started selling, like, there was this, you buy returned freight or whatever. So then I would go buy pallets of that and sell it online, and I was doing okay with that. And then flipping cars, I was doing okay. I was making, you know, a couple grand a month, $3 grand a month, whatever. Like, it wasn't, I was go from making $3 grand a week, $4 grand a week to, you know, struggling to make 2, like, it sucks, right?
Yeah.
And so then it hit a point where I was like, you know, I started talking to people, and people were struggling with contractors. Okay, well, all these people are struggling with is for you to show up, do the right thing, honor your work once it's done, and get paid. Like, how easy is that?
Yeah.
You know, like,
I always say that. I'm like, they don't have that hard of a job.
No.
Like, just do what you say you're going to do and do it right.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's it. Like, that's the whole gist of construction, really, but everything in and of itself, you know, is like, if you say you're going to do something, do it.
Like this construction that you saw.
Yeah.
I was told 4 months.
Shit.
We're on month 15.
Well, there's 2 guys just chilling out front.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
you know what I mean?
Where's the contractor?
Yeah. That's a really good point. And it just goes to the fact of, you know, so I think a lot of people start things with, one goal in mind, and they're like, oh, this is going to be great. But whenever you get into it, if you don't know what you're getting into, it's not going to be what you expected. And then there's going to be more things that pop up. And if you don't know how to deal with them and handle them, then you're going to ultimately be fighting from a corner. And, you know, what I say to people on that is, commit as you did on day one. The commitment starts whenever I say, okay, Barbara, I'm going to come take care of your house. Mm-hmm. And then if I get into your house and I realize, like, okay, great, this isn't what I thought it was, it is not your fault. Like, if we discussed everything and I misjudged that, it's not your fault. It's my fault. So I would always finish it. I would always eat the deficit 100% of the time. But the next time that I bid that kind of project,
now you learn.
Now I know. Mm-hmm. And I never forget. I always evaluate everything. And so
you started a construction company.
Yeah, started a construction company. And it was just that process. It was get in there, sell the job. Okay, great. I didn't see that coming. You know, I grew up in construction with my father, but like, to be honest, whenever I got kicked out of school, I would go work. Whenever I dropped out of school, I went and worked for a little bit. So I grew up around it, you know, so it was like second nature to me. But at the end of the day, running your own business and completing a job on your own is way different than going to work for your dad.
Yeah.
You know? And so got into it, and it was complete chaos. You know, like I had no idea what this and that. I would practice on my house and, you know, do the things, and then I would hire trades that knew what they did. And I can see a good job. You know what I mean? I understand the structural integrity of a house. I understood all those things. So we got in, kicked it off, and it was an interesting ride, you know. But all good things are.
Right.
You know, like,
it's the journey.
It is 100% the journey. So then we started that, and we were doing good. We were doubling our income year over year. And then year 4, year 4, we moved down to Florida. And then, but we always structured, one other thing that we always do is we don't structure for the size we are now. Mm-hmm. We structure for where we want to be. So like whenever we were making $250,000 a year, we were structuring for a $5 million company. Mm-hmm. There was no, I mean, you only know so much, right? And so you get to 5 million and you're like, okay, this is a little bit different than I thought. You know? So you pivot, but moving to Florida, you know, and always
What made you move there?
Following the Lord. So we always prayed the same prayer, you know, guide us in the direction we're supposed to go, open up the doors that we're supposed to be at, and close the ones that we're not, and please make them obvious, you know, because you got 2 doors in front of you, both them fuckers look good, you know. And so 5 people had reached out from February of that year until June that year. And my wife is, I guess, the smarter one of the group. You know what I mean?
Per use.
Yeah. She's kind of got it going on. But I would have already been in Florida, and I'd have been in Key West, you know, because a hurricane had come through. Well, somebody reached out from the Keys 1 month in like February, Tampa, Sarasota, Fort Myers, and these are all different people, no connections to each other, you know. Mm-hmm. And finally, on the 3rd or 4th one, she just spent an entire day looking into it. She's like, dude, it's way too difficult. Like, you got to have all these licenses. You got to have all this stuff. Here we can just do whatever we want. You know, it's like the Wild West in the Midwest. You know? And so, and then finally on the 5th one, we're like, fuck it. We've either got to stop praying this prayer to open the doors and shut the ones, you know, and like the whole time Missouri stuff kept coming up, and you're constantly dealing with your past, you know, which is another downfall on the come up. But so
the biggest reason why parolees fail is because they're freaking sent right back to the same neighborhood that they got wrapped up in. Yep. So of course they're going to be brought down.
Yep. 100%. And it's one of those things that, you know, they if that's where they're from, they don't really have a choice but to go somewhere else. But the thing that people fail at, in my opinion, is whenever I got locked up and none of my people were around except for one guy, what do I have for the others? If you're always there for me whenever I'm on the streets and I can do for you, but whenever the one time I need to borrow $20 to get cigarettes, mm-hmm. I'm fucked. But there I confront you a pound.
Right.
And you're happy. You know what I mean? But I need $20 to get some cigarettes, and you don't have anything for me? Like, come on, man. So whenever I got out, I realized that. I was like, none of these people, like, you're not my friend, man. We're not, like, you're not there for me. Mm-hmm. And so I was able to cut them out. But where a lot of people fail is they get out and they go right back, and their buddy is there, you know, and he's like, oh, man, I missed you. Like, did you?
Yeah.
Did you really miss me?
Oh, man, I've just been busy.
Yeah. You haven't been that busy. You didn't even answer whenever I call. You know what I mean? Let me call you now. I bet you answer. You know, but you don't want to take a collect call. Like, so it was really easy for me. And that I think is where a lot of people fail. You know, they do get dropped right back into their old playing ground. Everything is very familiar. All these things that they've done. And then they're also reminded of everything that they did wrong, which is why whenever we left Missouri and went to Florida, it was a fresh start. Mm-hmm. Nobody knew me. There was no way in hell any of those people knew anything that I ever did. And I took advantage of that because I didn't have to worry about showing up to somebody's house anymore and getting locked in the back room, getting the shit beat out of me for something that I had done to somebody or their cousin or whatever, you know? Mm-hmm. And so whenever we moved, it was just playing ground. You know, it was just a brand new everything. It was terrifying. Like,
but your business exploded.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did, because I had no more barriers set in my way that I put there.
Yeah.
All the barriers in Kansas City were just put there because of me. Mm-hmm. They're just, oh, I'm not qualified for this. I'm not. Okay, and then you go to a place where nobody knows you. Okay, now I'm successful. You know, like, but so we left. We prepared. I marketed. I didn't get a job for the first 3 months we were there. And I just knocked doors. Everybody was like, no, sorry, not messing with you, out of towner. I'm like, dude, what do you mean? I'm in town now. You know what I mean? But then the storm hit. And since I had done all that marketing up front, I attended all these different groups, attended all this stuff, I put in the work.
Yeah.
And I never thought about the idea of not succeeding. Failing is not an option for me.
Right.
And so whenever the storm hit, it was overnight success that we've been planning for 5 years.
Yeah.
And so then everybody that I had marketed to, everybody that I had knocked, I mean, I was knocking doors, passing flyers at the grocery store. If I heard you talking to somebody about something, I was giving you a card. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Everybody I came in contact with. And then whenever the storm hit, it was just overnight. I mean, we literally went from two sales. Sorry, that's a lie. 2 sales from July to October. And then the storm hit. And from October 10th to the end of the year, we closed 1.3 million. And then the next year we did like 2.5. And then the year after that we did 5. The year after that we did 7 again. And I think we're at 7 again this year.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And you haven't even been in Florida.
No. No. Well, and that's the thing too, you know, the other thing and the, what is the group we're in? The council. So, you know, I'm reading all of that. And I'm like, dude, we have so much to offer these people. Mm-hmm. Like, there's just so much that we can help these people with that just lets me know how much help the world actually needs. Because I look, you know, as you grow and as you level up, you know, you're constantly like, you almost hit a place of complacency. You know, I did twice. I hit a place of complacency. Whenever we hit 3 million, thought I made it, you know, like, you're still broke at 3 million. Now I understand what people say whenever they're like, $1 million isn't a lot of money.
No.
Like, whenever you're doing millions of dollars in transactions, millions of dollars goes very fast.
Yeah, it also means you have millions of dollars of expenses.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
So,
it's not like it's all just shoving in your right pocket.
Right.
You know? So yeah, it's been a hell of a journey.
Well, and I think too, as your income grows like that, you do realize money does not bring happiness.
100%.
Even though we have all searched for that our whole life.
Yeah.
But you get there and you're like, actually, I feel the exact same way, just with nicer clothes and bougier water.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I think I'm just here to help people.
Yeah.
Which is exactly why you're in the group and why you're here, is like, you guys are so positive all the time and just want to help people.
Thank you.
And you're using your story to inspire I hate the word motivate, but inspire other people
Yeah.
because like we have similar-ish backgrounds, and if we can do it, anyone and their shitty excuses can do it
100%.
too. Like, which is exactly why I built the council. Like, and I said it in our first call. I was like, sure, I'm the one facilitating this, but like, I'm not the cult leader. Like, I'm not, what if I say something that's not Bible? Everyone in this group has something to contribute and something to teach the other people in this group, and vice versa. Like, you're here to learn from everyone because we've all had different mistakes. We've all had different things that we've had to learn from, different ways to make money, lose money.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very true. And that's the other thing that people should really understand. And it's going to sound harsh, but nobody fucking cares.
Yeah.
Like, quite literally, nobody cares if you win. Nobody cares if you fail. Even the people that you're trying to kind of tiptoe around in your life, they're not worried about it one way or another. And if you do succeed, they feel less of themselves often. So it's one of those things where you can't base your success off of the feelings and opinions of others around you. And if your spouse isn't on the same page, what you have to get aligned.
Yeah.
You 100% have to align with your spouse. Like, they are half of your existence.
Right.
You know, like if we weren't aligned, you know, me and Erica and you and Matt, you know, it's one of those things that's like, we wouldn't be where we are today.
Right.
But Erica knows, like, she was going to be here today, and my daughter got hit by a car 2 days ago, so she had to kind of pivot, right?
Which is wild. She's okay.
Wild. Yeah, she's good. She's good. She's fine. But, you know, it came down to it, and she's like, hey, can you go? There's no, well, I can't go, you can't go. Like, no, it's okay, great. I can't go, now you go. You know, I'll get on one later, you know? And so it's just that mindset of being aligned with your spouse. And the other thing is, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, I did my half. Like, then there's still half you have to do.
Right.
And if she's...
But nothing is 50-50. That means you failed. Literally 50% is an F.
It's like my science grade.
Yeah.
you know, it's not succeeding. And that's the other thing. Everything takes 100% commitment to business, to raising kids, to being married, having a happy, you know, family. It's 100% commitment on everybody's part.
How do you structure your days right now when you have 4 kids to take care of, a wife to make sure she's happy, a crazy successful business, a documentary, which we'll get into as well? But what do your days look like?
My days are 16 to 18 hours a day, nonstop, every day of the week. It doesn't matter. Now, I do take time to fuck off and do whatever I want to do. But typically my days are, and we homeschool too. So there's that factor of life. Like, now I'm responsible for my kids, but, you know, I guess if they end up fucked up, I did it. You know what I mean? It's not because of the school system that they're out of whack.
Teach her how to look both ways.
Yeah. That's what we're working on next. Trust me. Like, oh shit. Okay, great. Now I have to let them lead and I have to let them take charge. But my days are extremely, I wouldn't even say really busy as much, because I have a good team on the construction team. So they are, now that we're getting ready to scale, you know, my days have ramped back up. But I do, a lot of my day is involved with personal development. I believe that if I take care of myself, that's the other thing. You have to be selfish. Because if you're not filling your glass and you're constantly pouring it into other people's, like that half empty, half bullshit, half full glass stuff, like it's for the birds. It really is. It doesn't even make sense. Like, just fill your cup up.
Yeah.
And then then as it overflows, the people around you can receive it. So, but, you know, with all that, I put a lot of time into personal development. I put a lot of time into our business. I wake up, I respond to emails, you know, like, I'm not even out of bed and I'm responding to emails, especially because our staff right now is 2 hours behind us. So if I'm up till 2:00 in the morning, I know minimum I have to get 6 hours of sleep. I have to get 6 hours of sleep, or else I turn into an ass.
I'm like a 7.5.
Yeah, I'm great at 7.5.
I'm great at like 8+, but 7, anything less than 7.5, like, forget it.
Yeah, it's challenging, and that's the other thing that people have to identify is, what is your sleep schedule? Like, the fact that you know you need 7.5 hours of sleep at minimum to be to operate properly for months at a time.
Yeah.
You know, there was a time where I would only get 4 to 6 hours of sleep a night. And eventually I was like, okay, that's not working. So then I played with my sleep schedule. Do I need 8 hours? No, 8 hours. I still feel kind of groggy whenever I wake up. Okay, let's cut it back to 7 because I know I don't need 9. You know, so then I cut it back and I was just playing with it for a while.
Yeah.
And then you have to watch it over a period of time too, because it's not the first day at 6 hours of sleep that's a problem. It's not second, third, fourth, fifth. It's week 2 at 6 hours of sleep that personally I become very direct.
Yeah.
And it's not the best communication style.
Yeah. And as a leader in your companies, you have to know these things.
Yeah.
I got the coolest visual, and people might have even missed what you said when you said your cup has to be overflowing so that it can flow into other people.
Yeah.
And that was the coolest quote. Like, I'm envisioning this cup literally overflowing so that then it impacts and helps other people, not just filling your cup up, but overflowing it.
Yeah. Because here's the thing about that. And the way I look at it is, if I have, you know, you have a cup and you put a napkin around it. And then as the cup overflows, it's slowly overflowing. It's not a massive, because you have to build yourself up. You have to be confident in what it is you're doing. And then, but you know, as it overflows in that napkin, and then that it starts to absorb, and then it runs out slowly, you know, like you get the edge of a napkin wet and then it slowly absorbs. And that's the people around you. Each one of those little dots on your paper towel it represents an individual. And so then they're able to soak it up, and they're able to soak it up. And then before you know it, your team is structured properly. Like, you're not just going to hire an amazing person. You have to hire a good person that's qualified, and then train them, and always stay positive. Always.
Yeah.
But the visual, that's exactly right. It is important to fill your own damn cup.
You said you're starting a new division.
Yeah.
What's like your next business goal?
So our next business goal, as far as financial,
Whatever you want to go with that.
so we used to do siding, windows, and doors for homeowners. We got out of that and then focused strategically on national builders for windows and doors only. And then, so if it's not new construction, we weren't participating. Well, then as we're setting our targets and we're setting these goals and we're charting everything out now, we're like, okay, we're not going to hit our goal this year. Like, our goal this year is 15 million. And so we're like, okay, great. We're going to hit 7 to 10. I'm not cool with not hitting our goal. I don't push, shove, like, we got to get to the fucking target, you know? And so I was like, all right, well, what do we do? And so then Erica and I sat down. We're like, okay, pros and cons. What's this? What's that? And so we're going to introduce siding and windows and doors back to homeowners again, and kick that off. Because the other thing, if something's not working and your clients aren't happy, it is not your client. It is your operation. It is you and how you're functioning that business.
Yeah.
And so we evaluated it, and I was like, okay, well, here's my opinion on why people were beginning. Not only was there a hurricane, and then people got screwed by their insurance, and then COVID happened, and then prices skyrocketed, and the materials were scarce, and then the people are just like, they got tired of hearing excuses.
Yeah.
But they were real.
Yeah.
You know, they were facts. They weren't just like, oh, we can't get this. Like, it was a real thing. We couldn't get it. So we stepped out of it, but we were like, okay, well, why were they that way? It was our lack of communication. It was our lack of follow-up. It was our lack of, I don't want to say coddling, but you should, like, if you have an upset customer, you should put some attention on them. Figure out why they're upset, and then look back at your system and see, okay, where did I miss that? Where could I have fixed that at? You know, and what do they need? All people ever want to know once they give you X thousands of dollars is, hey, where are we at? Where's my money at? What's going on? Just give them the information. So we're kicking that off. I actually fly to Panama City, back to Panama to get that kicked off and get that rolling. So super stoked about that, because our end goal is 500 million.
Wow.
Our 5-year plan is 150.
And then sell?
National, yeah. And that's just the construction company.
Tell everyone about Salt of the Earth.
Yeah. So we've got a new thing that we're coming out, a Docuseries that we're coming out with, and it is, the Docuseries name is Salt of the Earth, but we're also going to be offering coaching. because it is important. And you also inspired us for that. And I'm like, all right, cool. Barb's kicking it off. Like, now I got to catch up to Barb. You know what I mean? Like, we got to go. But so Salt of the Earth is our docuseries that we built out to show people the journey from where we started, where we began, how we got together, like the trials and tribulations of the whole thing. Because that's the other thing. People look at successful people and they're like, oh, it must be nice.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I guess it is nice. Don't get me wrong. Like, it is extremely nice to be able to go get whatever I want to eat, whatever, you know, like I can do and have anything I want. It's nice. But the process of getting there. So the docuseries is to break down, you know, like, how did we get together? Where was I before prison? Where was I during prison? Where was I at right after prison? And so it's going to show them the entire journey and how we did it. And really our goal is to bring it around full circle, because what my opinion is there's a lot of misalignment in marriages and in companies in general. And then, you know, ideally people will hear it, convicts, you know, and they'll be like, oh man, I could do that too. You know, just like I did. I heard a story Cardone said one time, and I was like, if that guy can do it, I can do it. You know what I mean? Like, and so now I have a target.
I love that.
Great, let's go. So yeah, it's kicking it off.
You're turning your mess into your message.
Yeah, 100%. That's a very good way to put that.
Yeah, I always tell people, like, everyone has their shit. Everyone has a mess.
Yeah.
It might not have been mine. It might not have been yours.
Yeah.
But you still have a mess that people need to hear the message.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, where can everyone find you, especially if they want coaching from you?
So our website's being built out right now for Salt and Steel. saltandsteel.com is the domain. It is being built out. It is not active at this moment.
Maybe by the time this comes out.
Yeah, more than likely. I wasn't sure if it was live or, you know, what the deal is.
Few months.
Yeah. So yeah, by then for sure it will be, but it's saltandsteel.com. And on there you'll be able to watch the docuseries, get merged, schedule coaching, attend the conferences, stuff like that.
Yeah, conferences.
So, yeah, girl. I need good speakers too, you know. And really, because our goal is with Salt and Steel, which is like the mother company of, you know, and it has Salt of the Earth under it, but it is to bring couples and unite them and in their journey in business. It's not just, hey, you're a convicted felon, you should stop being an idiot, you know, like it's, okay, you've got a past, he's got a past, you guys are united now, you have family, you have kids, you have a business. And if they don't have a business, fine. It's easier to talk to business owners, I think, most often, just for the simple fact that they kind of understand. Whenever you live with somebody, you work with somebody, you raise kids together, and if you homeschool, then you school your kids together, you really get to know them.
Yeah.
And you should really be aligned.
Yeah.
But that's the goal, is to unite the marriage, build the business, and then with that, the kids will feel the effect of that. And then so the goal is to do that, unite the marriage, build the business, and from the kids being affected by that, now the kids have a chance. Because right now, if mom and dad are working together, and then they're fighting together, and then the kid has to deal with the mom and dad fighting, and then they're working all the time, and then the kid doesn't have structure, like the kid's just going to grow up to think, I don't want any part of that.
Right.
I don't want to be a business owner. If that's what owning a business is about, like, it's not. Owning a business is about the journey. It's about the joy. It's about the struggle. I have learned that the struggle is what I actually like. I don't so much care for the money anymore, because it was, you know, like you said earlier, it was for the money, right? And then you get the house, and then you get the cars,
right?
And then you have all the steaks you want. You have all the cigars you want. You have all the stuff, you know, all the clothes and shoes, and it's like, I'm still broken.
Yeah.
And then you realize one day, like for me, it was about a year ago, I hit another spot. And I was like, man, I'm just constantly bashing my head against this wall. And then it's like, it's not the money that I enjoy. I had to evaluate, like, what is it I enjoy about this? You know, because like I'm just constantly bam, 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 bam. And so what is it I enjoy? Okay, well, yeah, I enjoy this, and this, but what makes me happy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, helping people. The journey makes me happy. The struggle makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
The starting from nothing and building something crazy makes me happy. So,
well, I have to tell you, thank you for being like one of the best supporters of me and my company. Like, you guys are always like the first to be down with anything we come out with.
Yeah.
Your strategy clients, you're in the council mastermind group. You come to all of our events. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And, the reason we do that is because we believe in you guys. We believe in what you're doing. We believe in the strategies you offer. They're obvious. If you're not a client, you should be, because the results speak for themselves, and it does take us putting in work as well as you guys putting in work. And that's what's so beautiful about the team. We can call anybody on your staff and it's just like talking to you guys, it is what it is. And I greatly appreciate that. And then, just supporting you in your journey up. Like, I love that. I'm super stoked to watch you grow. We went through the conference last year. We went to the conference this year. It was like 10x.
It was a lot bigger.
Maybe 15. Like, it was huge, and so that's amazing. And then you come out with the council and I was like, all right, yeah, we're in. Like, okay, what do we all have to offer?
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's unite with a group of like-minded people
mm-hmm.
and make it happen. So I encourage everyone to, if you're not a client, become a client. If you're not a part of the council, you should be. And support your people around you,
mm-hmm.
because helping you grow and prosper helps me grow and prosper. Like, if I don't come learn the things that you're doing, where am I going to get them?
Yeah.
And be over there just like, oh, I think this is going to work. Like, let me just go hang out with Barb for a little bit and see what's up,
Well, thank you.
So, yeah, absolutely. I appreciate everything.
Well, thanks for flying down here for the day. And
yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure we'll have you on the podcast again. And I'm excited to have a whole few days with you. You'll be at the retreat in February?
Yep.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah.
What about Instagram? Best way to find you? Not Instagram, probably.
No, I'm a Facebook guy.
All right.
But my personal Facebook is Jeremy Harrison. And then my Instagram is also Jeremy Harrison. And then as far as the Salt and Steel, Salt of the Earth, SOT official on Facebook and Instagram.
Perfect.
So
we have a lot of Florida clients. So
do you?
Your construction company.
Yeah.
Tell them.
So royalexteriors.us, we are all throughout the Southeast right now, and then we're going nationwide. So
yeah.
Yep, royalexteriors.us, and then also Royal Exteriors on Facebook and Instagram. So we are statewide window and door company for national builders and multifamily new construction, and then we also do siding, windows, and doors for remodel clients as well. So we're fully equipped, set up, ready to rock. There is nothing like and I don't mean to be cocky, if you will, but the confidence and the results is what allows me to say we are the best. Like, the results of our systems that we've built, the results of the people we've trained, it allows me to say that we are the best in that sector for windows and doors and new construction, and nobody can touch us. Like, nobody. The quality checks we have, we've custom built out our CRM to be what we needed to be specifically for windows and doors and new construction. It's not built for anything else. Now we have our sales CRM for the remodel side of things, but we're custom all the way through. We don't miss things. If we do miss them, it's 24 hours for it to be fixed. We stock parts on everything we do. Give us a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see what's up.
I can't wait to see you hit 500 million.
Yeah, me too. I'm stoked. Like, because you set the goals. You set these little things are gonna be different whenever I hit 1 million. You hit 1 million, you're like, okay, fuck, nothing's different. And then you hit 3 million.
Have you read the book 10x is easier than 2x?
No.
Oh, it's a good one.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To think how you're already thinking, but it just gives you like the real life stories of it, and you're like, oh, That's what I need to change.
10x is better than 2x?
10x is easier than 2x.
Easier than 2x. All right, yeah, I'll check that out.
All right. Well, thanks for being on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Life Changing Money. Don't forget to subscribe, and I would love if you left a review and shared it with your friends. See you next time.